Step number 2, as you're aware of the body, relax. Relax in body, relax in mind. You're not trying to get anything. You're just stepping back to observe what's happening. Third step is to check what your mind is doing. Check if there are any thoughts, and if there are, just recognizing them and gently letting go, not trying to reject them, not trying to pursue them, just let them go and come back to step number 1 and repeat the whole process. Just as simple as that. A simple aid is to ask yourself once in a while, what's the mind doing? What's it aware of? Okay. We'll sit down mindfully and let's continue our session. This is an interesting exercise, a very good introduction to Vipassana meditation. We begin to understand the nature of the mind. Did you notice how the mind is drawn by one object and followed by another? Yeah? Any sounds, any sensations. And do you notice how many times your mind ran off and thought of other things? Not staying in the present? Did you notice that some of these thoughts were triggered off by sensory objects, while others are not? Others just pop up out of the blue. And some of these thoughts can condition other thoughts to arise, somehow connected to that first thought. Can you see that? Can you see how when you first stood up there was relative comfort, and then after some time the comfort turns into discomfort? Yeah? Can you control all that? No. So the whole purpose of Vipassana meditation is to be able to have a direct understanding of what's happening to you. Direct understanding means being able to actually experience, to see the mind changing so often, continually changing, continuously changing without stop. Attracted by one object followed by another. If it's not a sensory object, then it's a mental object. Isn't it? So here you begin to see the three characteristics, that everything is impermanent, rising and passing away. You begin to see dukkha. This is suffering. Physical suffering is so obvious. He said that physical suffering is covered up by the constant change of posture. Yeah? You think that you're comfortable in an aircon room in a sofa. How long can you sit in a stationary position? Yeah? Very soon you'll have to change again. So the illusion of comfort, physical comfort, is created by the constant change of your posture. So that's why just now I asked you, try to remain motionless, try not to move, so that you can understand what is suffering. And you can also see the connectedness, the conditionality of your thoughts. Yeah, the intention, the urge to want to move, want to shift, comes about because of what? Because of discomfort, right? Yeah. And then you try not to shift or not to move because I told you so. Well, that's a condition for you not to move. But then after some time, you cannot tahan maybe. You must move. So that's also another condition. So it's all due to causes and conditions. That's coming to the third characteristic, which is impersonality. There's no permanent abiding self there in control. Things are happening because of causes and conditions. Right? Another form of suffering, which I missed out just now, I have to backtrack a bit. I was just focusing on physical suffering, is the suffering of being impermanent. The mind is impermanent, it's changing all the time due to various causes and conditions, particularly sensory objects and other mental objects. Yeah? Can you stop it? Cannot. So that is also a form of suffering, because you got no choice. You are, powerless to do anything. The mind keeps on rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling. That's samsara. Yeah? Being fed by all sorts of objects, sensory and otherwise. If you're able to maintain that sort of awareness in as many aspects of your life as possible, then the three characteristics will become very, very dominant to you. Is it very difficult to be just aware? Do you have to put in a lot of effort? The only thing that you need to do is to remember to do so. That's the most difficult thing, to remember to do so. We tend to forget to come back to the present moment and get lost in our thoughts. Otherwise, it's very simple. You're just stepping back and watching a movie. Okay, so this sort of mindfulness practice can actually be practiced in your daily life. Yes, in your daily life, although you officially work from 8 to 5, actually, there's a lot of time within the 8 to 5 when you are not actively involved in your work. Yeah, you're going to the toilet, you're having a coffee, you're having a cup of tea, you're talking with your colleagues, you're driving, you're dressing up. All this time, you can actually watch your mind. Yeah? Understand conditionality. If you're able to practice this habit of asking yourself, this is a very interesting command. Where's the mind? What's the mind doing? Keep asking yourself the whole day, whenever you have the time. And then the moment you realize that it's not with the 5 senses, particularly your body, that means it's already thinking. In that way, you will be able to catch your thoughts, catch your intentions, and distinguish between thoughts that are functional and fruitful, beneficial, suitable, realistic, and relevant, and those that are not. And the moment you realize that they are not, let them go. Come back to the present moment. If they are not, then they can make use of that opportunity to see anicca, dukkha, anatta. That is all impermanent, suffering and not self, due to causes and conditions. If it's important, beneficial, relevant, and so forth, then pursue those thoughts. I'm not asking you to stop thinking because it's impossible to do so. I'm asking you to be selective in your thoughts. Don't waste your energy. A former professor of biology in NU once came here for a camp. He was an invited speaker. I don't know whether it's a USM camp or an MU camp. And he said that 80% of our energy is sapped by the mind. A construction worker may be working the whole day under the sun. Come back home, he's still not exhausted. He can still go to the pub and have a nice drink. After work, he goes to the coffee shop and with his mates, and then stay until 12 and go back. Next morning, he's back to work. Office worker, sitting under the aircon, come back at night after dinner, cannot, no strength even to watch TV. Home. Intellect, the mind uses up a lot of energy. Right? So if you're able to arrest your mind, catch your intentions, catch your beginning thoughts, then you will be able to be more selective. Don't pursue all those useless thoughts and come back to the present moment. Okay, when you do this often enough, what's going to happen is that you're going to have this realization, this awareness within you that everything is really impermanent. Things come and go due to causes and conditions. There's no permanent, unchanging self there in total control. Then you understand yourself. Even if all these defilements arise in you, you don't try yourself for having these defilements. After all, your mind is basically pure. And then, if you are very clever at doing things, you're very smart, more creative than other people, you don't have to be proud about that. That is so due to causes and conditions. So when you see this often enough, what happens is that some teachers say, particularly Vipassana teachers who practice this sort of mindfulness practice, they say that it's not necessary to actually do metta meditation. When you have this understanding that all those thoughts and emotions and defilements that arise in you don't belong to you, they are just products of causes and conditions. You can have a sense of oneness with all beings. You begin to understand that everybody is like that. Every sentient being is like that. Same. It's just that they are not meditators, they are not practitioners, but I am a practitioner and I can see, but they can't see. Right? And because they can't see, those poor guys, they are caught up in their thoughts and they are deluded by apparent reality. Then automatically you have compassion, right or not? Automatically you have loving kindness. You begin to forgive people more, forgive people's faults, because you're more understanding now. You know that those faults that arise in you also are due to causes and conditions. No one is perfect. So that's one way of practicing metta. If you practice vipassana meditation, or rather mindfulness meditation in your daily life, trying to look at the three characteristics in as many aspects of your life as possible, this metta, these four Brahma Viharas can actually arise by themselves. Then the other way of doing metta bhavana is by visualizing and memorizing and creating an image or an idea of people so that they are happy, they are healthy and happy. That's also useful because particularly for people who are bad-tempered or hot-tempered, who have a hateful temperament. Such people who have this temperament have a certain sort of mindset. Their tendency is that they always want to look at the drawbacks, the bad points of people, trying to find fault with people. They're always looking at the bad side of things, and that's why they get angry. Yeah? Metta, on the other hand, is the other way around. It's looking at the good side of things. You could say it's more optimistic. And when you practice metta continuously or frequently enough, then it will help to create the conditions to change your mindset a bit. Then you're not so bad-tempered anymore. You don't want to find fault anymore. You begin to see that all these everybody is the same. Then less frequency of your anger arising, dissatisfaction arising. But if anger, aversion, or these unpleasant states of mind do arise, then you need vipassana to be able to catch those initial thoughts, initial emotions, and not let them overwhelm you. So that's why I said, in Buddhist meditation also we have yin and yang. Right? You need to have vipassana also to be able to catch your mind fast enough and not pursue those unwholesome thoughts. Okay, so now let's do some yin. Alright, let's do some metta meditation. Could you sit in a comfortable posture? It's important to be comfortable. If you feel that you cannot sit cross-legged, please sit on the benches at the side. Because if you're so uncomfortable, you will not be able to focus on what you're doing. So feel free to sit at the sides if you feel uncomfortable. Okay, so are you ready? Take your drink. Okay, let's start off by bringing our mind back to the present moment, what we did just now. Close your eyes.